All right, so Dragon's Dogma 2 just came out, and well, of course, as I expected, the Xbox Series X version has some peculiar things about it. Now, Dragon Dogma 2 is made by Capcom, a Japanese based studio, so I already knew what this was gonna be. All right, so right now, my gripe is I am getting really annoyed with these Xbox ports being worst out of all the ports because now don't get me wrong, the PC, I know Dragon Dogma 2, the PC was completely not working for some people. And a lot of games, the Xbox port is fine. But the Xbox Series X, on paper, is the more powerful console. But yet it gets less frames and has other things about it that isn't going well. Case in point, I'm going to show you two videos from Digital Foundry. The first one is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where I first noticed this, and the most recent one is Dragon's Dogma 2. All right, so the reason I think, though, this is happening is because developers are seeing there's an Xbox Series X and a PS5 they need to uh, make the game for. And they put time into making the game on PS5 and calibrating it and optimizing it. And then they need to make time calibrating and optimizing for the Xbox Series X. It doesn't help that the Xbox Series X has half the console sold, but that's all right, whatever. But Microsoft chooses to have this mandate where they have to also release the game on the Series S. Just like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was not allowed to be launched because they couldn't release it on the S, and they had to get special permission from Microsoft. So now you have these studios having to put in double the amount of time to optimize for an Xbox system that is half the player base of the PS5, and then the Series S, which is even smaller than the Series X player base. And so instead of putting 100% of their efforts into the Series X, they're probably just putting 50 and 50 in each, or 25 and 50, or 25 and 75 in each. And especially these Japanese studios who already probably don't give a crap about Microsoft, like Capcom, you already knew that that port was not going to be that great. And then include the Series S that they have to make for, which don't even get me started on that version. And you get this product where the Series X is just not optimized compared to the PS5. So that is why I think this is happening. Xbox making the Series S is one of the dumbest decisions ever. But I'm going to get into this video to show you guys. All right. So the first one, Assassin's Creed. This was Valhalla back in 2020. And this is the X version. All right. So look at the frames. He says that the resolution drops so low, and then the frames just drop into the 50s and 40s. The resolution, he was saying, drops to, I believe, like 1080p, the lowest resolution it can go. And the frames are in the low 50s. Sometimes I think it said high 40s. Now look at this, the PS5. He says that it stays at 1440p as the lowest and it's locked 60, whereas the Xbox Series X is at 52 average and is at the lowest resolution. This is when I noticed and I started scratching my head as to why this is happening when the Series X is the most powerful console. And I understand there was probably an update soon after this that fixed the X version, whatever, but it shouldn't be like that on day one. Now, Dragon Dogma 2. All right, so Dragon Dogma 2, there's two main things. So this game is checkerboard rendering 4K, if you guys remember that shit from the PS5 or PS4 Pro. And I believe it's also dynamic resolution, right? It's dynamic resolution. So the resolution goes up and down with checkerboarding. All right, so checkerboarding, it's not native 4K, okay? There's a difference. But it still looks okay for the PS5. But look at this left side on the PS5. Like, look at the hair and the bushes. And then look at this mess over here on the Series X. What is this? The hair's all fuzzy, the bush is all fuzzy, it's all fuzzy. The checkerboard rendering is not optimized for the Series X. Why? And look at this. This is terrible. Terrible compared to the PS5 version. And yeah, not as good also on this picture. And I'm not even getting into the Series S. That is just, they don't even try with that. All right, look at the grass here, how foggy it looks compared to the grass on the PS5. The Series S, they just ported down every setting. They just ported it, they took down every setting and said, we're done. This is a Xbox One original game. Horrible. Do not get a Series S, guys. And they can't even, in here, this is the Series X, they can't even count the resolution here because there's motion blur that you can't take off. And it's just so blurry and difficult to count the pictures. But also, it's like that, I believe, in the PS5 version too. So I'm not just attacking the Xbox version. All right. So the other thing that you'll see here in a second is the frame rate. So the Xbox Series X version, the frame rate is better in an area. It might be a few frames better. Like if this area, for example, it'll be a few frames higher, but that might be because the checkerboard rendering, it's more fuzzy, so that's why it's able to get more frames, is because the picture quality isn't as good. That might be the case that they're saying here. But the issue comes when they're running through the city, right? When they're running through the city, what happens is, right here, I think this is it. When they're running through the city, even though there's NPCs that just appear to help out with the frame rate, the PS5 has more frames when you're running through the city than the Series X does. It's just really annoying. I think this was it. The PS5, it's in the 30s, right here, 34, 29, 27, 32, 30, 32, 33. And then here, 27 with the Xbox, 27, 28, 30, 28, 27, 23, 26. This is just simply unoptimization, if that's even a word. So right here, the checkerboard rendering and the frame rate being worse in most cases, at least in the city part. Now, granted, there's some cases where it's a little bit better, but in that city part, it's just worse. The main city, it's worse, along with the checkerboard rendering. Yeah, the PS5 version is better than the Xbox or Series X version. And just like the Assassin's Creed version, that was better. The Assassin's Creed version of Valhalla on the PS5 was better at launch than the Series X. So it's just, I'm just annoyed at this point why Xbox just keeps getting shafted, and I fully believe it's because of the Series S, where they're like, do you want us now to optimize for 2 of your consoles while PlayStation is only making us optimize 1 console, and we have to do 2 of your consoles, where your main console is behind 2 to 1, and the Series S is the market share of that is so low. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think. For me, I'm just right now, it's come to the point with the consoles where they aren't hitting 60 frames anymore, which I never thought this would happen, but it is appearing now that it is slipping back into last gen where you'll be playing games at 30 frames a second. So I'm just going to upgrade the PC. All right, well, comment down below what you guys think. Again, this isn't some fanboy shit attacking Xbox. I am defending Xbox, saying why are these ports bad and giving my opinion on why they're bad. And I wish the ports would come out equal or just optimized. If the Xbox version was optimized, it technically should be running better than the PS5 because it's more powerful. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like, comment, share, dislike, comment that I'm wrong, that it's actually better than the PS5 version or something I missed, blah, 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 blah. That's just facts. That is just facts. They released the Series S and developers they just don't want to deal with the Series S and X. So they don't spend their time developing on the Xbox Series X, especially these Japanese studios. I will say this, and I'll always say this, these Japanese studios do not give a shit about Microsoft. That is why Microsoft has so many deals with these Japanese studios, because like, yeah, E3s, everything, you see like some Japanese game like Yakuza on the Xbox, because Xbox has to go to them and pay them and say, hey, please like us. Again, I'll always say this, remember Scalebound. What happened with Scalebound? The developers of Scalebound, I'm forgetting the names, they took the money, ran, and developed Nier Automata with it, and then Microsoft had to cancel Scalebound while that developer was just stealing Microsoft's money, and they were a Japanese studio. Yeah, again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. See you guys in the next video.